What's going on, guys? It's the Hunter Project here. Welcome to my channel where you'll find Monster Hunter news, builds, playthroughs and everything in between. Today I'm bringing you another predictions video on Monster Hunter Rise, specifically the G expansion and what monsters I hope to realistically see. Of course, these predictions are going to be way ahead of any official news on the big expansion, so this is all just coming from the top of my head. Judging by the previous newest entries to the series, we'll likely see the ultimate expansion sometime around 2022 March, or possibly even a tiny bit earlier, as roughly they release the big expansions to the base Monster Hunter titles around 2 years later, give or take. So with that said, guys, kicking off our list, we have our one-time Elder Dragons. This is specifically targeted at Gog Mazios, Dalamador and Shara Ishvalda. I was going to put Dire Morales on this list as well, but he does have the waterside aspect to his fight, so I was like a bit, I'm not too sure if they would end up bringing it back. If they did, they probably would have to rework the water side of it. But for the most part, these three I feel like realistically would be the easiest to bring back, and they're still very awesome monsters. And surprisingly, none of them ever made it back to the following entry in the series after their initial debuts, as hinted by the one-time Elder Dragon status. And these three were some of my favourite encounters in their respective games. I think they did a great job of creating a very engaging and fun encounter of these big beasts, especially Gog Mazios. Trying to solo that beast was absolutely just one massive trek trying to do, and I think Dalamador especially would be an awesome fight with our new Wirebug abilities, and being able to just traverse the massive snake Elder Dragon would be extremely cool. Gog Mazios and Shara also, I think, have many ways they could be reworked and have fun and engaging mechanics implemented involving the Wirebug and our new, just overall enhanced aerial capabilities. Hopefully we do see at least one of them return sometime during Rise's life cycle, or even in this specific point's case, even in any future Monster Hunter game. It would be extremely cool to see one of these Elder Dragons that have only ever made one appearance, even though they're some of the best fights in the series. But yeah, on that note, let's move on to the next one. So coming up next, we have the Fated 4. So with World's solo Glavenus appearance and now Rise's solo Mizutsune appearance, it is very strange that the devs are missing out on reuniting the Fated 4 since their initial debut. I think this one is more self-explanatory as to why they should be included, and I'm sure there is a lot of other people who are wanting the return of Gammoth and Astalos, as them two specifically have not made an appearance yet since their Generations debut. And for me personally, I am most excited to see the return of Gammoth just due to its sheer size, and I've always loved fighting it. It's just a really cool design for a monster, and just fighting it in the snow was very atmospheric. And even Astalos as well. Astalos is a super cool monster. I know Revajolt, fellow YouTuber, would love to see it return as well, and it's not out of the question for them to bring back Bolt Reaver as well as an Apex monster, so it would be extremely cool to see them two brought back alongside Glavenus, so we have a proper unite of those four flagships. Coming up next, we have a new Black Dragon, and the last time this was the case was Dire Morales and Elatrion back in 3 Ultimate, and since then a few Black Dragons have returned in the series, but we are yet to see a new one, or even quote-unquote a new one imported from Frontier, just similar to how they did they took a monster and adapted it into Magnamalo. I think they could do the same thing for a Black Dragon, as there are a few. I'll put a few up on screen. There are a few in Frontier that are yet to make it to the mainline series, and they are a bit more out there, but once again, now that we've had Magnamalo, just every door is open as to what route they can take with monsters and implementing them. Either option would be awesome to see. For me personally, I'm not too fussed. Like I said before, the Frontier monsters are very possible, as long as of course I doubt they would bring back the exact monster, but they can adapt it into a mainline series monster, and I think they're extremely cool in terms of design, and it's not too far-fetched for them to do so. So hopefully at some point we do get a new Black Dragon, as it has been quite a long time. Right, so now the final point that I wanted to do on my wish list for the G expansion is a new weapon. I think it's been long enough with our 14 weapon types since 4 Ultimate, and I think there's so many concepts for them to go on. Of course, I'm not really too fussed as to what the weapon is, as long as it makes sense and fills the gap where we need a weapon type. and I'm sure the developers have thought about it with each entry and have to really think about it because they don't want to break the game's gameplay, and they also want to make sure it makes sense as to why they should be adding the weapon. One weapon type I would like to see, if they were able to implement it properly. Of course, I don't know all the balancing side of the weapons and everything. This is just something I would like to see out of just straight out of my head, which would be a sword gun hybrid, similar to the switch axe, how it has a sword mode and then the axe mode. I would love to see a sword gun hybrid which has a sword mode and then a gun mode. And of course, this would be quite a task to balance in a fair manner, and I wouldn't want it to be like the gun lance. Of course, we have the gun lance, which is technically like a sharp edged weapon on top of a gun. I would love to see like some sort of light bow gun hybrid with the sword mode of a switch axe. Of course, they probably would have to downgrade the damage on both modes and maybe have some sort of super attack that builds up to average out DPS. And of course, this would be quite a task to balance in a fair manner, but I'd be all for this coming to Monster Hunter at some point, as it would be super fun to use, and you would have the best of both worlds. You would have ranged attacks as well as close range attacks, but it would just be more of a jack of all trades rather than it being better than a light bowgun or better than a sword weapon. It would be cool to see just like a little fun weapon added in, just so we can mix up a bit of the gameplay, as it has been quite a while with 14 weapon types. Definitely let me know down below any other weapon ideas that you guys would love to see in the series, and I look forward to reading each of your ideas. And with that said, guys, that does bring us to the end of this video. If you did enjoy, be sure to smash the like, subscribe buttons. It's extremely appreciated and helps out the channel a ton. Comment down below as to what you hope to see in the Ultimate Expansion way into the future, and don't forget to join our Discord. Link is at the top of the description. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.